how's it going? Just on my way to work here, and just gonna let you know the proper way. So most of you guys know just from my prior video that I blew my motor up. I blew my motor up over the summer, late summer, and just got it back together. So I know there's a bunch of you know, there's not really a black and white way to break a motor in, but I'll let you know. Being the fact that I've done a couple motors, this is what I do. So basically, you know, the manufacturer ways are you want to take it easy the first 1,000 miles. There's already a synthetic motor in it. Some manufacturers say that you know, they're already pre-broken in before you receive the car, like just with the manufacturer, which probably isn't true. But anyway, so what you want to do is you want to put mineral oil in. So that's non-synthetic, like Rotella 1040, which is like actually a diesel, which is actually like a diesel oil, or there's like AMSOIL makes braking oil. I believe Redline does, Motul does. There's a bunch of brands that make braking oil. So what you want to do is you want to fire it up, get it idling, get it up to temp, like fully, like let it run for like 20-30 minutes in idle. Then from there, you want to let it fully cool down so the motor can go through a heat cycle in the rings. So the motor in the rings can do a heat cycle, right? And then after that, you want to drive it, and you want to not keep it at the same RPM for about 1,000 miles, like try to. So if you're on the highway like this, you want to speed up, and then let the gas off, and let it go into vacuum the whole time, and let it coast as much as you can all the way down to like 2,500, 2,000. So what that does is it puts a pressure on the rings. It puts a pressure on the rings, the cylinder walls, and it causes the rings to bed in real nice. So basically, you know, you can throw a little positive boost in it too if you want, but you know, you want to really, the higher you can go. It's a little wet out right now, so I'm not trying to kill myself, but you can kind of go like that, and then let it go all the way down to 2,000 RPM. So that's really what you want to do for about 1,000 miles, and make sure your car's, you know, fully warmed up at operating temperature before you start doing this. So you don't want to mess anything up. But yeah, so you just let it do that. I'm still in vacuum all the way down. So if you properly break a motor in, you know, you might only have anywhere from like 2 to 3% if you did a leak down test of leak. And if you do it incorrectly, you might have like up to like a 15-10% leak down. So I mean, that's a big difference when you're making, you know, just 1,000 horsepower. You're almost losing 100 wheel horsepower just by improperly breaking in your rings. So that's really what you want to do when you break your rings in. That's really it. So you know, some people put synthetic in at 1,000 miles. I'm going to probably go a little longer. I'm going to probably go to like 1,500, 1,250, and then throw my synthetic oil in then. So I mean, that's really the best way to do it if you're doing it on the street. If your car's in a shop and it's getting dyno tuned, a lot of shops will just, you know, throw it on the dyno and break it in that way, which is fine. I mean, that works probably even better, to be honest. But anyone that builds their car at their house or takes it back or wants to check to make sure he's okay, like, this is probably the best way to do it. So you don't want to just cruise at a normal RPM and just, you know, let it, like, that's what you don't want to do. So you don't want to sit at a normal RPM. That's the last thing you want to do when you're breaking in an engine. So it really, like, if you did that, let's say you sit at, like, you know, I'm on the highway right now, you sit in 6th gear and you cruise at 2,000 RPM, that's doing absolutely nothing for your rings as far as the break-in process. So it's just crazy that, you know, there's so many different ways to do it. But from the couple engines I've blown up and done, like, this is the best way to do it. So, and then you just want to put a couple heat cycles in the engine, but that's just, you know, driving it, letting it sit, driving it, letting it sit. But, you know, that's all it really is to break an engine in. So, and everything else is pretty straightforward. And you probably want to replace the oil. You know, after you start it up through the first heat cycle, you know, you can throw the oil out there, or you can throw, well, I mean, because there's so many little microscopic metal everywhere in the motor because of, you know, the machine shop. But, you know, I would switch it then, and then switch it at like, you know, 500, or you can drive it, you know, a little bit, and then just switch it at like 500. Yeah, like 500. So that's what I do, 500, and then I switch it at 1,000. And depending if you want to throw synthetic in or not, you know, I'm going to probably switch it out a couple hundred miles to go to 1,500, and then convert over to synthetic. So that's really what you want to do, because if you don't seat the rings incorrectly, you can't just fix it. You gotta break down the motor and get new rings in it, or you're going to be stuck with a leaky compression motor. So that's how I would break it in. So step one is fire it up, put mineral oil in, non-synthetic, heat cycle it, and then start, you know, basically driving it like this. You want to go all the way up, and let it go all the way down. And if you can, it's best to do it on pump gas, 93 octane. If you have ethanol, I mean, people do it with ethanol, it's just that it makes the cylinder walls a little slipperier, which is what you don't want. But, I mean, it's not going to kill it if your car's on ethanol only, but if you have flex fuel, put it on pump gas if you can. That's another thing you want to do. So, that's basically it for how to break a motor, and that's at least how I do it, and it works pretty well. So